Anime has always held a special place in my heart since my childhood. Among the countless captivating elements that drew me in, I think the fights always have been a standout element for me. Now, after years of immersing myself in various anime series, I'll be going over what I think the best fights are from different animes I've seen so far, starting with the original Dragon Ball, Z, and Super. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super both have their fair share of incredible fights, but I have a clear favorite for each. For Dragon Ball, it has to be Goku vs. Piccolo in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. The choreography and animation still hold up beautifully today, and the drama and stakes were raised to immense heights. With nothing less than the fate of the world and the tournament title on the line, we feel Goku's desperation to win this fight of his life, refusing any help while trying to follow the tournament rules by staying in bounds. When he finally claims victory, it's profoundly gratifying. As for Dragon Ball Super, my pick is Goku vs. Jiren, where he goes Ultra Instinct Sign, then finally Ultra Instinct. The animation and choreography are top-notch, and seeing Goku challenge Jiren with forms usually reserved for gods is simply amazing. Watching him finally get the upper hand on the seemingly unstoppable Jiren, especially week to week, was an incredible experience. Now, Dragon Ball Z is where things get really tough. You've got iconic battles like Vegeta vs. Goku, Goku vs. Frieza, Goku vs. Cell, Gohan vs. Cell and the Cell Juniors, and even Goku and Vegeta vs. Kid Buu. They all have so much going for them that you can't really go wrong with any of them. But for me, it comes down to either Goku vs. Vegeta or Goku vs. Frieza. Goku and Vegeta's fight does so much right. From the contrasting ideologies and backgrounds to the back-and-forth action, the Kaioken bursts driving Vegeta mad, the epic beam clash, Vegeta's Great Ape transformation, and everyone coming to Goku's aid. The pacing is also better than the Frieza fight in my opinion. However, the Goku vs. Frieza battle is just so incredibly iconic. From their initial clashes showing Goku's clear disadvantage to the Kamehameha and Spirit Bomb, and of course, the legendary first Super Saiyan transformation. There's so much to love. Ultimately, I have to give the edge to Goku vs. Frieza as the best fight in Dragon Ball Z. Also, like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Next is Naruto, and I'm going to have to go with the clash between Naruto and Sasuke in Shippuden. I get why some might say the original series had the better showdown, but I can't help being a bit biased towards this fight. It was the culmination of their ideological differences, their growth, and how much they had gotten stronger is all presented in this climactic battle that left the fate of their world hanging in the balance, and it's done beautifully. The fight kicks off with intense hand-to-hand combat, no words or music needed to set the tone, but then it ramps up as they power up into Kurama and Sasuke's Susanoo. Then they eventually exhaust a lot of their energy and start throwing hands again to the point where they are barely able to even stand. The back and forth feels like a struggle for the ages, animated to perfection. The conclusion is just as amazing, with Sasuke finally admitting defeat to Naruto. Side note, let's not forget how incredibly well it was portrayed in Naruto Storm 4. That game adaptation might even rival the anime version. All in all, Naruto vs. Sasuke in Shippuden is, in my opinion, an absolute masterpiece of a fight and the best in the series. Now, let's talk about an anime I just finished binging, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. While the show's strength lies more in its gripping plot and mystery than its action sequences, a few fights stand out as truly memorable. Mustang vs. Envy and Edward vs. Father immediately come to mind as the standout clashes. Edward's climactic battle against Father was an emotionally charged moment, with the stakes raised to the max as Alphonse sacrificed his soul to restore Edward's arm for this final confrontation. But as epic as that fight was, I've gotta give the edge to Mustang vs. Envy. Earlier in the show, we saw Envy take out Hughes, a good friend of Mustang's, leaving him without closure on who was responsible. So when Envy resurfaced with his body back, the tension was palpable. Mustang's reaction as Envy boasted about killing his friend was absolutely chilling. Throughout the battle, Mustang was cold and calculated, and the intense animation and art style emphasized that perfectly. But it all built up to one of the coldest sequences I've ever witnessed. The emotion, the animation, the music, the voice acting, everything came together flawlessly in that scene. For me, Mustang vs. Envy takes the top spot as the best fight in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. The way it paid off Mustang's character arc and delivered on that long-awaited confrontation was just perfection. Now, Jujutsu Kaisen, probably the most popular anime out right now. Season 1 was solid, but Season 2 truly elevated it for me. With so many incredible fights to choose from, it's hard to go wrong, but a few really stand out in my mind. Off the top of my head, we've got Itadori and Todo vs. Mahito, Gojo vs. Toji, Itadori vs. Choso, Sukuna vs. Jogo or Maharaga, and even Yuta vs. Geto. In terms of sheer technical brilliance and choreography, I'd have to give the edge to either Itadori vs. Choso or Todo and Itadori vs. Mahito. Both feature some truly unique and beautifully choreographed hand-to-hand combat sequences. The Choso fight, in particular, has some stunning animation and color work that really sets it apart. However, as impressive as those fights are, my personal pick for the best has to be Sukuna vs. Maharaga. This fight just oozes cool factor, and it's one I find myself rewatching constantly. Maharaga and of course Sukuna himself are just such fascinating and compelling characters, and their clash is nothing short of epic. The additional scenes they added for this fight only made it better too. So while Itadori vs. Choso might take the crown for pure technical choreography and uniqueness, Sukuna vs. Maharaga is the one that really speaks to me on a deeper level. The sheer spectacle, the character intrigue, and those jaw-dropping sequences make it an absolute must-watch in my book. Demon Slayer, an anime that rose to immense popularity very quickly. I'll admit, after watching Season 1, I enjoyed it, but was one of those people who thought it was carried mainly by its gorgeous animation. Even now, I still somewhat believe that, but when Season 2 dropped, my views on the show completely changed. Having Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan airing back-to-back on Sundays was an incredible experience, but it was the episode featuring the best fight in Demon Slayer that truly blew me away: Tengen vs. Gyutaro. Before this battle, it was presumed that Tengen had died, and Gyutaro was coming for Tanjiro next. Just as he's about to strike Tanjiro down, Tengen emerges and saves him in the nick of time. What follows is one of the most action-packed, beautifully animated, and impressively choreographed fights I've ever witnessed in an anime episode. You can feel the desperation in every attack as the characters give their all, even sacrificing parts of their bodies to defeat the demons. This season, and especially this fight, had me more invested and amazed by Demon Slayer than I'd ever been before. The sheer intensity, the emotional weight, the breathtaking animation, Tengen vs. Gyutaro had it all. It's a fight that left me on the edge of my seat from start to finish, and for me, it easily takes the crown as the best battle in the series so far. Now, to wrap up this list, we have My Hero Academia. This show is filled with plenty of fantastic fights, but one battle stands out above the rest for me. Right now, I'm not fully caught up with the newest season, which I've heard great things about. So for the time being, my pick has to be the iconic All Might vs. All For One clash. I vividly remember watching this fight when it first aired, and All For One just exuded an eerie, menacing aura. Seeing the symbol of peace, All Might, fight against the strongest villain at the time, all while his own body was failing him, was intense beyond words. And let's not forget that chilling moment when he unleashed his ultimate move. That line alone still gives me chills every single time. The ending of the battle was equally profound, with All Might clawing his way to victory against all odds, and the entire world calling out his name in triumph. However, it was also an emotional moment, as he had to use up the last remnants of his power, signaling the end of an era. This fight holds immense significance for the story going forward, making it even more meaningful. For now, until I catch up on the latest season, All Might vs. All For One stands tall as the best fight in the series for me, a true masterclass in storytelling, animation, and sheer hype. And those are my picks for the best fights from these animes. Let me know what you think are the best fights from these animes, and if you would want to see another one of these. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. Also, check out my other videos. See you there.